Hello and welcome to this lecture on Adobe Photoshop by Eduonics. In this lecture we're going to be going over the healing brush and the healing brush tool, which is located over here, and we're going to be hitting the spot healing and the healing brush, as well as taking a look at some of these other ones we'll go more into in the next video. But first off, let's take a look at the two main ones that we're going to be covering in this one. There's a spot healing brush, and notice I just have a picture. It's from a Google search for normal face, and I picked one that I thought looked extremely normal, I guess, for the US maybe. So it was pretty average, and it's got average everything. It's got some shine on it and everything, some freckles, and we're gonna pretend we're really compulsive photo editors and try to get rid of everything. So with this spot healing brush, and if you don't see it over here, it's J, and you can hit Shift J to cycle between these options, as you can see. So with this we can just brush over things in the image, and you'll see what it's doing is it's taking the surrounding image and it's replacing what looks out of place with the stuff that makes most of it up. So make sure you get a good deal of the surrounding image and only the area that you want. So here's how it works. Here's a good example. We have this very tiny, very faint, hard to see pimple. We want this information. So if I were to draw it out, we want this information with it, and we're naturally going to brush over the middle of the pimple and maybe just cut in a little bit here because there's a little bit of, and then get the rest of this guy. You can make but that's kind of the area we want the light stuff, not part of this line. So that's the general idea with this, is you watch what you use it on. That shortcut key J, remember. So naturally I'm going to start with this, so I'm getting rid of it, and as you can see I have pressure turned on. You don't need it. So then I'm going to hit just the light parts to coincide with this underneath the wrinkle area, and I get a little bit smoother, a better, because that would have been a particularly challenging one. You might end up wanting to do that one with a clone stamp tool. Whoops. But it's just taking area around it and doing that. An even better one might have been so if we were to go like this, that's going to make it a lot pinker. Than if we were to go like this. If you pay attention to what I was getting there. Just to illustrate what the spot healing brush does better, I think I'm going to do this. So here's a comparison. Here's something that I made in 3 different sizes, so you can see what happens, because the more pixels you pick up, and this is based on pixels. This one's about 100, almost 100 wide, and the smallest is only about like 25 or so. So picking up the smallest one, I get some of the surrounding skin, and it does a reasonably good job. I might have to hit that one more time. And hitting the bigger one, I really have to start to pay attention. It did the outside, it kind of gave it a blur. So if I didn't fill the entire thing in, that's what it would do. If I just hit the center, it's going to still try to find what's around it. However, if I do the whole thing, it's almost like magic. So let's see what we can do with the big one. Let's do a small, and I'm just kind of painting directional slashes. So it looks pretty good. What if I do a big one though? Looks, in my opinion, a little bit better because it's even fudged some of this in here. So, as you can see, almost no matter what the size is, which you might think that the size matters, but it doesn't, you can get rid of about anything using the tool right here. The healing brush is a little bit different. The spot healing brush is what it sounds like. It's for what it sounds like. Let's take a look at the healing brush, which is just Shift J from the spot healing brush once. So the big difference here is that the healing brush, you select a source, as you can see by holding an Alt, very similar to the clone stamp. Although the clone stamp is literally putting your source over, and the healing brush is using a little bit of computation. So this could be seen as a more specific version of the spot healing brush. And just like the difference suggests, this one is used for, well, in this photograph it would be used for cleaning up this hair. And notice how it doesn't do a direct copy of the layer right next to it. An easy way to see this would probably be with this lip line. Here, I've got the lip line. I'm going to start my healing right here. So in the end, it still is relying on computation, although that was kind of weird looking. So I can clean up relatively large areas using this. There's a different technique. We won't get into it for this, for cleaning up like oily skin. But that's essentially to blur this out, not with a regular blur, but with a shape blur, and then you come in and you apply a Gaussian noise through a blending mode, through a transparency mode to the layer underneath, and you pick up a little part right here. You can do some transparency stamp tool over all that from a piece of skin, and it'll look perfect, you know. But this one's used for, it's just when you want to control what you're putting down. For a great example is on faces, when we're moving into a certain area. If I wanted to duplicate this, if I thought this was weird that people didn't have eyelashes right here, and I wanted everybody to look like my conception of what people should look like. I don't know, something really strange. I could put eyelashes here, but I would want to take it from a similar curve. As you can see now, with just a little bit of editing, I can clean that up, make it look pretty good. So then we have weird looking people. It almost goes to the extent of making up stuff for you. Notice how I got a little eyeball in there? That's fine. It'll just look like a shine, kind of like what's on the rest of it. I put this over it. Most of that shine goes away, but this little part right here came through. And now I'm copying an exact. But as you can see, this was included in the copy, and it didn't come from over there. So it looks kind of strange now, but that's essentially the difference between these two. And the rest of the tools in this category kind of follow into that suit, and we'll go into those in further videos. So thanks for watching, and make sure you practice using this tool, and definitely look at the clone stamp tutorial. I would say the biggest difference is the clone stamp is the most deliberate. You know exactly what you're getting. And with this one you can set your brush to, although it's only going to let you use a round brush. So even when I click up here. Same for the spot. So the clone stamp actually lets you use different size brushes, which is pretty cool. You'd use a clone stamp for more artistic things, I think, and for if that's what you're more comfortable with. And obviously the spot healing tool is great because you don't have to pick up each time. And then even the regular healing brush tool is great because you only have to really pick up once. Let's take a look at what it does on the big scale real quick before we go. See if we can get rid of that oily patch. And of course then I want the healing brush tool because I want to pick up from an area. Notice how I picked up from here, but I'm starting from here. Normally you would pick up from here and start from here, and then you'd do this and it would pick up from right here. But it's symmetry in the face, so I want to start from right here, and then I want to go in, so this is translating to this. Anyway, I'm going to start about here. Looks like I'm already getting the edge. I'm going to redecide here. So I guess to do what I was talking about, you kind of have to start a little bit over. And look what it does when we put the eyeball right in the middle of the head. It knows it's not really supposed to be there. But the more of it we paint in, if I just paint in a little bit, it's very faint when it fades out. If I just do this whole thing, and only end up painting a little bit of the eyeball in, it's almost non-existent. And what I've done here is I've also created a little extra area. I can come in here and get rid of that. But what this tool is used for a lot is just removing hair and stuff. But as you can see, you can remove pretty much anything. Now I brought some of the texture back in her forehead. But as you can see, it's a pretty powerful tool. And you can pretty much remove somebody's entire face. So really useful for actual Photoshop photo manipulation. Anyway, that's all I'm going to go into for that one. So thanks for watching. Practice this one.